Hey everyone, it's Easter Saturday. I'm out at Cressbrook walking Kobe. I felt really inspired to make a video because I have a new selfie stick and mine broke and I lost the other one. It's very difficult to make videos if you don't have the right equipment, and I finally invested in a state-of-the-art selfie stick tripod. So here we are, and it's a absolutely beautiful blue sky, sunshiny day. It's quite warm. It's about 12 degrees, 15 degrees today, and the birds are singing, and it's Easter Saturday. So a time of magic and miracles, a time of amazing things coming out of what seems like the darkest despair. That really is the symbolism, isn't it, of the crucifixion and the murdering of Jesus Christ, only for him to resurrect and essentially prove everyone wrong. So it was actually, the crucifixion was the greatest gift because it proved beyond any of a shadow of a doubt that Jesus was indeed the Son of God. And it was the crucifixion which essentially created the whole wave, that whole movement of Christianity. There's dogs up ahead and people, so I need to be a little bit cautious here. Okay, right, there's an Alsatian, hold on. Oh my goodness, disaster averted. There's lots of dogs walking the Dale, and it's Kobe land, it's Kobe territory, so he gets a little bit upset when there's dogs. Come on. So we are here at the site of the building. We've cleared it all. Oh, you can see lots of brambles were here. So we've cut it all back. We've cleared it all. We found this amazing rock. We created a little temple here for Ganesh. And he actually went missing. He was actually in the sacred grove, and then it seemed like he was stolen, and then we found him wedged in a clump of trees. So whoever stole him, I think they realised, they thought better of it, because it's very bad karma to steal a sacred object. So we've relocated him to the temple area here, and I've been doing some visioning and sketches. Hold on, I'm going to squeeze out, see if... so I can't squeeze out. Let's just hold this out. I'll hold my new selfie stick out. So I've been doing some sketches and some visioning, some designs for the resurrection of this building, the restoration of the building as an interfaith chapel using sacred geometry, using the Vesica Piscis. Essentially it's symbolic of two becoming three, the division of two cells to create new life. And so Jesus emerges from a Vesica Piscis in a lot of classical art. So it's a very beautiful piece of sacred geometry. You see it at the Chalice Well in Glastonbury. So it would be really amazing to create that shape as the kind of floor plan of the resurrection of the building. So this theme of resurrection, as it's Easter weekend, Easter Saturday today, is a beautiful theme to have in mind. Oh, it's so glorious here. I'll just give you a little view, that is the view to the north. So if you follow that, you get to source. And then to the east, this dale is exactly aligned to the north-south axis. So to the north and south poles, very symbolic. To the east, there is the Raven's Cliff. So the sun rises above those crags. And then to the south, that is, if you follow that, you get to Cressbrook Village and to Monsall Head eventually. And to the west here, that is the Lytton Frith Forest, which goes all the way up, probably a quarter of a mile north, which is all part of our land, our 53 acres of amazing land, amazing sacred land, which is so beautiful, so abundant, and we were so blessed to have manifested this land. And obviously it's got all of the elements here. It's got a source of natural water, the Ravensdale Spring, and also the Cressbrook runs through it in the rainy season, so it's still running. We're just going to walk down to that now. It's got huge amounts. It's got 47 acres of forest, all protected ancient forest, but lots of fallen trees, fallen branches, so an absolute abundance of wood. And also, one of the things we're realising, it's got an incredible abundance of limestone. Well, the natural rock here is limestone, but it's over the years it's been quarried to create all of the dry stone walls, and there's just naturally loads of limestone rock all over this dale, so that's really abundant with natural resources. And then obviously it faces south, so between kind of 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. the grassland here, it's about 6 acres of pasture land, grassland, getting the full sun, so it's a very, very beautiful sight, and we were so blessed to have manifested it. So there isn't really a tremendous point to this video, apart from just to say hello and to touch base and to not talk about politics. My last two videos have been specifically about the East Midlands Mayor. It's interesting actually, I just did my return for the local council elections back in February. You have to do a return of expenditure and donations, and last time I think I just sent an email just saying here are my 2 expenses, but this time he's like, oh, you've got to do a full disclosure because you've been asking for donations. Well, during the election period I didn't actually receive any donations, as in ones that have to be declared, because you only have to declare them if they're more than £50. But anyway, this form, I think it was about 13 pages long. I mean, the amount of red tape connected to elections is just absolutely bonkers. The same applies to the whole East Midlands Mayor election. The levels of the barriers that have been put in to prevent people from standing, just quite incredible. So, I mean, before all of this happened, I had no real insight into the world of elections or democracy. I'll use that in inverted commas, that word, because it seems to me that the whole of the democratic system is completely stitched up. And the more that I'm in that world, and the more I speak to people in that world, the more I realise the extent of the corruption. So I'm not standing for East Midlands Mayor. I'm standing on an I Do Not Consent campaign. So if you've seen my videos, you will hopefully have got the message on that, that I don't think it's a free and fair election. I don't actually believe that we should have a combined county authority. It's just another expensive authority, a bit like the Peak Park Authority. The government creating all of these authorities to exert command and control over the people, like Peak Park Authority. The combined county authority is going to be the same thing. Each of these authorities costs millions and millions of pounds. I mean, every time I go to the Peak Park Authority to deliver one of my letters, I usually go and deliver them by hand, and I get a receipt, a signed for receipt. In my campaign to expose the Peak Park Authority, I'll use that word in inverted commas, to expose their violation of my human rights, my common law rights, I would prefer to call them. In legislation they're called human rights, but in truth they are common law rights, which are inalienable rights which cannot be removed by any authority or government. And they have openly admitted in their documentation, which I obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request, openly admitted that they knowingly violated the human rights of the owners of this land in taking their enforcement action. So I'm going to take that all the way. I'm already progressing a complaint. It's going to the Ombudsman, and after that it will go to the Supreme Court, and I will take it all the way as a stand for my common law rights, or human rights as they call them under Caesar's terminology. So it's all fun and games, folks, but it's so important that there are so many of us now standing up and speaking out. It's been quite interesting because there's been a bit of a backlash, because obviously the I Do Not Consent candidate for the East Midlands Mayor, Alan Graves, who I went to meet, I really wanted to, meet him in person. It's so important to actually meet people in person and make a decision, actually reading someone's energy and speaking to them. I think he's a genuine guy, and the fact that he's part of Reform, these labels we want to put on people, oh, he's part of Reform, therefore he must be a blah 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 blah. From what I could gather of the Reform guys, that we went to a meeting on Thursday night with a lot of Reform people, supporters, they're basically, Reform is a collection, a bit like the Freedom Alliance and the Love movement, a collection of independents gathering together for solidarity. And there's no whip, and that's the main thing. So none of them were particularly enamoured of Richard Tice or Nigel Farage. But they did recognise, and I agree with this, that it is powerful. It's more powerful. I'm negotiating a lot of mud here. It's more powerful to stand together, to come together with the support of a group, than it is to be a kind of lone wolf. And that we were very much of that mindset in the Love movement too. So to me, I prefer to keep an open mind and to meet people for myself and not put labels on things of, oh, he's Reformed, therefore he's a bad guy. Keep an open mind. I always think, let's keep an open mind. Let's listen to what someone has to say and make a decision. And the same applies to Andrew Bridgen. I went up to Westminster to his event and actually met him, heard him speak. You can read a lot from being in someone's energy field. So this overwhelming desire to put labels on people so that we can judge them is all very much part of the 3D trap judgment. Oh, he's a this, he's a that, therefore he must be an XYZ. It's very counterproductive judgment. The same also applies to disease. I learnt this one through doing trauma healing training with Dr. Gabor Mate. In his view, over 99% of all diseases are rooted in unresolved trauma. But of course the medical profession loves to put labels on things, because once a label has been put on something, it's easy to make a diagnosis and then prescribe. So Big Pharma, oh, they love labels. Oh, you've got ADHD. Oh, here's a pill we've created for ADHD. The whole of the Big Pharma industry absolutely thrives on this idea of putting labels on things. Whereas, for example, ADHD, if you talk to Dr. Gabor Mate, listen or hear his wisdom on it, it's a manifestation of unresolved childhood trauma. So collapse the unresolved childhood trauma and you no longer have the symptoms of ADHD. No big pharmaceutical interventions required. And the same with cancer, which is essentially cells descending into chaos. It's basically the body speaking. It's a distress signal. So if you can get to the root of that distress and heal, then that is incredibly powerful. In fact, last weekend I actually had a Kambo session, and Kambo is it's a kind of jungle frog, and they basically put some, they kind of like burn little holes in your skin with an incense stick, just to take the top layer of skin off. And then they put a little bobble of this frog. It's a peptide, it's not a poison. And it creates a kind of allergic reaction, which causes you to vomit, like a liver purge, bile vomit. And it basically scans your whole body and it heals it. And I had it done in Spain last year. It was incredible. And I was offered the opportunity to do it last Saturday, and I was like, yes! It's a very strong treatment, but it is incredibly healing. I'm so glad that I had it done. It really felt like it scanned my whole body and it just completely healed. I mean, I wouldn't go to the NHS now for a diagnosis of anything, but I did feel like I had something out of kilter in my kind of stomach, in my sacral, and it just has completely return me to a kind of harmonic resonance. So I'd highly recommend Kambo. I'm a great fan of nature's remedies, nature's medicines, as opposed to Big Pharma, which is all about masking symptoms and not healing them. So it's all good. And here we go. Just pause for a little while. Here's the Cressbrook, still flowing. Still fast flowing. It's actually very muddy underfoot here at Cressbrook Dale. So, and the wild garlic, you can see just acres and acres of wild garlic. Quite incredible. I picked some last week and put it into I made a kind of vegetarian flan and put loads of wild garlic, freshly chopped wild garlic in my flan. Really super delicious. So if you fancy some wild garlic, please do come and do a bit of foraging while it's in its still young and fresh and hasn't gone to seed and to flower yet. Yeah, so it's beautiful to be here, beautiful to be back at Cressbrook Dale, beautiful to have a new selfie stick and to be able to record a mainly non-political broadcast from my favourite place on the planet. Sending you so much love, and have a great Easter, and may it be filled with magic and miracles. Bye for now. So after I finished filming, I was sitting here on the rock in the site of the building where we are visioning resurrecting this building as an interfaith chapel for peace. I saw 3 Buddhist monks, nuns, walking through the dale, and so turns out they're from Plum Village, which is Thich Nhat Hanh. I think that's the Buddhist retreat centre he founded in France. So I invited them to come over and do a little blessing here in this sacred site. and so it was so sweet. So they sang a little mantra. So I'm going to finish this video with the video of them. It felt such an auspicious thing to have happened on this holy Easter weekend, a very auspicious manifestation. So enjoy.
That's what I thought. Few rounds. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let's do 3 rounds.
Okay, you
Or
come.
3
You
times
want to
3.
come?
Okay.
We're going to evoke Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of Compassion.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you.